Yeah, good morning, everyone. So, welcome back to one more semester. Okay, so now I'll be dealing the subject thermal engineering 2 for you. Okay, now just see this is the basically the first slide what I have given. So, thermal engineering 2 and your subject code is 15A03501. Okay, now this is the first slide. Now, for today's class, what I thought we'll go for introduction or introductory concepts, how actually your thermal engineering 2 is different from thermal engineering 1. Okay, what and all exactly we are going to study in thermal engineering 2, brief things about those things. And we will be just, I'll be giving some list of textbooks for your reference. And we'll be starting straight away the first topic of your thermal engineering 2 subject. Okay, right. Now you just see the first slide. Now this particular slide shows you in a nutshell, these are the applications of your thermal engineering 2. So I'll be discussing each and everything in the coming classes. Okay, so you can see the first one, that is, yeah. Now I just taken a spotlight for you. Just see here. The first one is showing a diagram which is a steam boiler. Okay. Now all of you have some idea what is a boiler. Now we'll see what is exactly a steam boiler, and we'll be discussing about these applications. So one is like a steam boiler, the another is a steam nozzle. Then you have something called as steam turbine. Then you have, this is your aeroplane engine. So this is comes under your jet propulsion. Okay, and finally you have something called as rocket propulsion. Okay, so in a nutshell, these are the main applications what we are considering in thermal engineering too. Okay, next. Now see what exactly we are going to discuss in your thermal engineering 2 subject. Now the first two, that internal combustion engines or compressors, are also the what you call applications of thermal engineering. So what we discussed in your earlier semester, which is the thermal engineering 1. Now this is yours other semester, what I call is the thermal engineering 2. Now these are the topics what we are going to discuss. Now we'll be discussing entirely about your steam engineering. So steam, what is steam? How the steam is produced? Everything I discussed to start with. I think you have some idea about the steam, properties of steam, or properties of pure substance in your thermodynamics. Now I'll be discussing and we'll be discussing a lot of applications of your steam here. So that's why I kept it as a steam engineering. Now, to start with, the steam engineering contains steam power plant. Then, as I shown in the previous diagram, previous slide, steam nozzles. Then you have steam condensers. Then steam turbines. So all the thing deals with the steam. Okay, so that's exactly what we discussed. A first part of your thermal engineering 2 subject, that is steam engineering. And entirely different thing, that is instead of a steam as a fluid or working fluid, I'll be going for a gas. Okay, so that's why the topic is called as a gas turbines and jet propulsion. And jet propulsion and rocket propulsion both are actually in the same unit, right? So gas turbine, jet propulsion. So in a nutshell, we have only in broad sense, we have two topics. One is called as the steam engineering. The another thing is called as gas turbines and jet propulsion. That's about your thermal engineering 2. Now, what exactly we are going to see here? Now see on. Now see the unit 1. The unit 1 will be entirely about the basic concepts. So where we'll be discussing something called as steam power plant, that is using a steam energy, how I can produce a power. Okay, so that's the basic steam power plant. And obviously any particular thermodynamics or thermodynamic cycle is there behind your any application. Suppose if you have an engine like your auto cycle, like your diesel cycle, like your dual cycles, you have Rankine cycle. The Rankine is the name of the scientist. Okay, and the entire steam power plant works, okay, based upon the Rankine cycle. Okay, so we'll be discussing each and every concept clearly in the coming classes. Okay, next we have problems based upon the basic Rankine cycle. Then you have, suppose this is the basic Rankine cycle, as I said. Now you must have some arrangements where I can improve the efficiency or the performance of the steam power cycle or Rankine cycle. Okay, so we'll see it afterwards. So these are the topics like regeneration, what it called as reheating, and combined cycle. That's are the modifications for your Rankine cycle. So that actually gives you the unit 1 concepts. Okay. Now coming to the unit 2. So coming to the unit 2. Now see, unit 2, you have a part 1, that is a part of the unit 2 will be discussing the steam generators, or simply it's called as boilers. Okay, so you know what is a boiler, because you might have seen in tea shops, all those places, what is a boiler. So boiler is a device. It's otherwise it's called as a steam generator. So a device which generates steam or vapor. So we can call it as a vapor, or we can call it as a steam. Okay, so the part 1 of unit 2 will be discussing about your boilers. And what we are discussing in the boilers, you just see a classification of different types of boilers. Then you have how that particular boilers works. That's the working principle behind the boilers. Then you have something low pressure and high pressure boilers. So low pressure boilers and high pressure boilers. So nowadays you can see that in industries we will be using a huge amount of steam. I'll come to the applications afterwards, how the steam is used and what is exactly the applications of steam energy. Now, whenever you have, for industry, you'll be generating a very huge quantity of steam, then I have to go for very high pressure boiler. Okay, then the last topic in your boilers is your mountings and accessories. So these are mountings are nothing but the safety devices which is actually mounted on the boiler to actually safeguard the boiler operation. And accessories are the one which improves the performance of steam power plant. Okay, so which increases the efficiency of steam power plant. Okay, so these are the things what we discussed in your part 1 of your unit 2, that is nothing but boilers. Now when you come to the part 2, yeah, part 2, it will be discussing about something called as boiler draught. Now I'll come to the term draught afterwards. Now those who actually gone towards the Chennai, you might have seen on the left side there is something called as Ennur power plant, or you have seen your VTPS like or NTP, VTPC or NTPC. Those are all nothing but your steam power plants. Now you will be seeing a very huge structures or tall structures at the, when you just see at the end of the power plant, which are nothing but called as chimney, which are nothing but called as chimneys. Okay, so I'll tell you in the operation what exactly the function of a chimney. Now draught is nothing but, now what happens once we have the gases, exhaust gases or waste gases from the power plant, it will be taken from the chimney and it will be let out in the atmosphere. Okay, so that process or that pressure difference created is called as draught. So we'll discuss everything, and don't worry at this point of time. So what is exactly draught? And we'll be discussing about the classifications of different types of draughts, like natural draught and artificial draught. Then how to decide the height of chimney. I said you're seeing that very tall structures of the chimneys when you go towards Chennai from Nellore, that is Ennur power plant. So those are nothing but your chimneys, which is of your hyperbolic shape. And we'll be discussing about those chimney height, as well as how to improve the efficiency of chimney, and how to create a draught or a pressure difference, like induced or forced. So we'll discuss each and every topic in the coming classes. Now, the unit 3, part 1, will be discussing about nozzles. Okay, so nozzle already might have studied that what is the nozzle in case of your steady flow energy equation. So the purpose of a nozzle is to increase the kinetic energy by reducing the pressure energy. Now, steam nozzle is a device which actually takes the fluid as a steam, and the steam will be energy will be converted, that is from pressure and high pressure energy to high kinetic energy, or to the in the nozzle. So the entire part 1 of your unit 3 discuss about steam nozzles. That is, first we'll be discussing about what is the function of nozzle, and what are the applications of nozzle, and what are different types of nozzles. Then what is the basic analysis of your nozzle flow. Then main thing or very important one is what is the velocity at exit. So what is the velocity? So that's very, very important, because my aim of a nozzle is to convert high pressure energy into kinetic energy. Okay, so then finally you'll be seeing something called as critical pressure ratio. So this is about your unit 3 part 1. Okay, now part 2 will be discussing a device called as a condenser. Okay, so I'll tell you what is a condenser afterwards. So basically steam, okay, after producing energy, will be condensed into water. So that process is called as condensation, or the device is called as condenser. So it's called as steam condenser. Okay, so we'll be discussing about the classification of different types of condensers. Then we'll be discussing about what is the leakage, this air leakage in a condenser, and efficiencies of the condenser, and problems based upon the condensers. Okay, now the next unit will be the very important one, because this is the basic where I will be convert whatever the steam energy available or high pressure steam available into mechanical work, that is using a turbine. So whenever I used some sort of a working fluid, now here in our case, it is nothing but your steam. The steam energy will be used to expand in a device called as expansion device called as turbine, and turbine will be one which is giving you the work or power. Now we'll be discussing about different types of turbines, that is the classification of steam turbines, and in that you have one is called as impulse turbines. Okay, so all these topics I'll be discussing. So major things are broadly it can be divided into two types. So impulse steam turbines, and the second part will be like a reaction turbines or reaction steam turbines. Now all these things what we are going to discuss in your turbines part, and a very interesting one. Definitely you'll enjoy the subject, because you have to have something called as a velocity triangles, drawings, etc., etc. So this is what I mentioned here, velocity diagrams. Okay, right. Now then you have the final chapter, very interesting one, because you might be seeing a lot of what you call as aircrafts, and you know the what is the how the aircraft engine works. Okay, and what is the basic cycle in your basic cycle behind your aircraft is nothing but your gas turbine cycle. Then how a jet works, you have something like a turbojet, turboprop, turbopropeller, what you call as, then ramjet, then something called as, now you can say, you know how a missile is working. Okay, so the missile working, everything comes under your jet propulsion. Okay, So part of your unit 5 will be discussing about your basic cycle or the like your steam turbine, you have gas turbine. So here the fluid is some high pressure gas instead of vapor or steam. So we'll be discussing about the classification of turbines. Then we'll be discussing about what is the basic cycle behind that and what are the performance parameters and problems, etc. about your gas turbine. Now, then we'll go for a jet propulsion, that is a turbojets or what are the jets. You might have seen that aircraft will be going actually moving in certain altitude. Then you have something what you call as jets will be going to the very higher altitudes. Okay, and rocket is one which is actually going above your atmosphere. So, the rocket propulsion. Propulsion in the sense the energy generated to move the vehicle. Okay, so that jet propulsion means so energy generated so to move the jet, and the propulsion rocket propulsion is the energy generated to move the rocket. So I hope these are the 5 units of your thermal engineering 2, right? So hope you understood what exactly we are going to study in a nutshell. Okay. Now these are the basic textbooks. What I am going to refer, or you can refer. Okay. So lot of things are available as e-books and possible material also I'll share with you. Okay. So the first one in your thing is Thermal Engineering by R.K. Rajput, which covers almost all the topics of your entire thermal engineering 2 subject. Okay. Now you can go for NAG, and you have a lot of textbooks like Thermal Engineering by R.S. Kurmi. So any sort of the thing you can use. Now one more thing here, because we'll be dealing with vapor or steam. Now you have to use for your problems what is known as steam tables or Mollier chart. Okay, so this Mollier chart is the chart based one. It can be used to read the steam properties, and tables are steam tables. Okay, so I hope you understood what exactly the textbooks available as well as reference books available to study about your subject, right? So that's about your textbooks. Okay, now right now what I'll do now, just I'll just take you the another topic, right? Now how many of you just know? So I'll just rush through what exactly, right? Yeah, see, are you able to see the screen now? Now, what is the steam? Exactly how the steam is produced? Okay. Then regarding the formulae, the properties of steam, we'll be discussing maybe after this particular lecture after the break. Okay. Now, what I'll do now? Just see. Now, now see exactly what I will be discussing. Now, this is basics of your steam. So, steam may be nothing but a water vapor which is suspended in the air. Okay, now you can see the pressure cookers, all those things in your houses, where actually we'll be producing the steam. Okay, now what is the advantage of steam is, so water is actually available. Okay, now if you go on increasing the temperature of the water at a point of time, okay, above 100 degrees centigrade, up to 100 degrees centigrade, it remains as a water. Now after that 100 degrees centigrade, whatever the temperature you are going to give, it is the entire water is going to change its phase. Okay, so that phase will be changed from water to vapor, water to vapor. So its steam is defined as now the water vapor. So it can be like a wet vapor, saturated vapor, or superheated vapor. I think some of the parameter terms you already know, but we will be discussing in detail in the coming classes. Okay, so vapor, suppose if it's in superheated state, it's like a gas, and whatever the properties available for a gas or air can be used okay, for a particular vapor. Okay, so I said this wet steam does not obey the Boyle's law and Charles law because the wet steam doesn't have, because it has a water particles in it. Okay, and pure gas or the superheated vapor. Okay, so I'll tell you what are all these parameters afterwards. Okay, now now just see the applications. Okay, now you can see this is basically what so it is produced by heating the water and carries a large points of heat, and this is basically used some of the, you can see the old films, you have trains which is running purely on the steam engines. Okay, and these are the, this is just left side, what you are seeing here is nothing but your the steam turbine. Okay, so we'll discuss all the parameters, and this is the basic steam power plant, because you'll be taking a fluid as steam here. Steam is the basic fluid, and it will be expanding in the turbine here. Okay, and once it expands, the steam, high pressure steam energy will be converted into mechanical energy here, and whatever the left out steam will be coming down here, and that mechanical energy is coupled to a alternator or generator to produce the electrical energy. So in a nutshell, what I can say here, this is basically the energy conversion of your steam power plant. So steam is nothing but high pressure steam or heat energy to the mechanical energy. So mechanical energy to the electrical energy by using a alternator. Okay, right? Now, this is how a steam is going to produce. I think you might have already studied about this particular thing here. Now, see, I assume that you have here, right? 1 kg of ice you have kept in a particular beaker here, right? Now, 1 kg of ice, it will occupy more volume because it's a solid. Now, there is a weight here, and you are going on keeping heating that. Now, what happened? Ice, once you heat for some temperature, 0 degrees centigrade, it just converts into water. Okay, now see, once what it converts into water, the volume is going to be reduced. The volume is going to be reduced. Okay, now you keep on adding heat. So now you see the volume is going to increase because the water now is converting into vapor. So vapor is like a gas which occupies more volume, which pushes the weight. Now wet steam, you can see here, a small amount of water is there and a lot of vapor is available. So the weight has moved a little bit more. So this is called as wet steam. So complete wet steam means there is no water, slight particles of water. So weight has moved because the steam has some energy to move the weight. Okay. Now you see here, dry steam means there is no water particle available because you are keeping on giving the heat energy, and that heat is taken by the water. Okay. So that particular water now already it's a wet, the water particles already wet particles also a little bit liquid particles, again it gets that heat energy, it completely converts into dry saturated steam. Okay, now after that, if you keep on giving the heat, so the entire particular dry steam, okay, it's called as dry saturated steam. Means saturation means there is no water particle available. Now that will be just taken, and it will be just see the energy available for the dry steam here. Now finally superheated steam, which is actually the very high quality steam, or the energy of superheated steam is very high. Okay, now that's why you see the weight from this particular part, it has gone up to this particular end because the superheated steam has very high amount of energy, high amount of energy, which moves the, what you called as the weight here. That means the steam has that heat energy which is pushing the weight. And this particular steam is one which I am going to use in a steam turbine, as I discussed in the previous slide. So that steam, which is at very high pressure and temperature, expands in a turbine, produces mechanical energy, and in turn alternative is connected to produces electrical energy. Okay, hope you understood what exactly the first part of your introduction class. right? Now, what exactly I have discussed, those who joined late, they can just have some. So to start with, what I discussed is what exactly thermal engineering 1 and thermal engineering 2. What are the topics what we discussed in thermal engineering 1 as well as thermal engineering 2. Okay, and what basically, if you just take in a broad sense, the entire thermal engineering 2 part is divided into two things. One is called as steam engineering. The second one is gas turbines and jet propulsion. So steam engineering is one where I am discussing about the steam power plant, steam nozzles, steam turbines, etc. And you have something other part is gas turbines and jet propulsion. And finally, I have given you what is exactly the textbooks you can refer about your subject thermal engineering 2. Okay. Then I started because I'll be dealing completely with the steam energy. What is a steam? How exactly the steam is going to produce, and what is exactly the steam energy available for mechanical work production? Okay, so just join up after the break. Okay, so I'll be taking I'll be posting one more link to join maybe at 10:30. So we will continue the class. Okay, right? So thank you. And in the second session, last 10 minutes, I'll leave for your doubt. Okay, thank you.